2008 was an interesting experience. Pia coming on board, not too far in front of such a major tournament. We didn't have too much time to get to know her, to mold as a team. And then of course Abby Wambach gets injured before the tournament.
Wambach, Rodriguez, Wambach storming through, collides with Andrea Rosa. Wambach is still down.
This is one of the challenges that you have in playing a friendly just before leaving for a major tournament. You've got to take the risk and have your top players on the field, but certainly having an injury to Abby Wambach would change the United States' future for that Olympics.
It was the worst collision I think I've seen in a long time. We just knew that, for her to not get up, there had to be something wrong. We looked to Pia. Her face was, she was calm, she was collected. She knew that our star striker had been hurt, but obviously we had the rest of the team to be able to get the job done.
Abby was a key factor for us leading up to that Olympics, so to not have her there, we had to discuss kind of what the game plan was after we knew she wasn't going to be able to play with us. So we had to restructure a few things, literally right as we were flying over to China for the Olympic Games.
I think that a lot of people didn't think that we could do it, and we were, seen as the underdog, a position that I hadn't been too used to seeing this team put into.
We did lose our leading goal scorer, Abby Wambach, going into it, and this is that she was an emotional leader. And then all of a sudden, it's just a sign that you never know when your time's going to come. We lose our first game, and that's the first time we've ever lost a game. And so here we are, we're dealing with the shadow of the '99 team being, this team will never be as great as those players, and we're in our first Olympics without those players. And we lose our first game. So we have that burden on our shoulders.
When we lost against Norway, that was my first loss with the team. It was tough. But then I thought, now we really have a choice. What do you want people to look at? So after the game, I gathered the players and said, look at your body language, because we have a chance to tell everybody, yeah, we lost against Norway, but we still have a chance.
We could still get to the final. It wasn't over. We could still make it through with a loss in the opening game. We dug deep from that game on, and we continued to work together, and I think the togetherness is what got us that end result.
I will say our confidence didn't just happen the next game. It happened over the next couple games. Every game it just improved and improved and improved, and you saw people like Angela Hookleys step up huge in that tournament, and so happy for her because it was a random position and she came out huge.
Pia came up to me before we started training in China and said, we're going to have a role for you, and our expectation is that you will be starting in this Olympics. Not only that, but in a different role. I've been playing the midfield position for predominantly my whole professional career. So part of the change that was made was I would play up top as a forward. At that point, obviously, as a professional athlete, when you're given your opportunity, a chance, you have to step up and take that on.
We didn't think we were going to end up winning our group, which would have made the journey to the final that much more difficult. Things happened to go our way. A couple teams that we expected to win ended up losing, and we ended up having the privilege to play Brazil in the final, which made for one of the most epic games of all time.
And we see Brazil again, our sort of arch rival, a team that broke our hearts just a year earlier in the World Cup. And, that loss stung. We lost 4-0 in the World Cup. That's a loss that we won't, soon forget. And to face them again was incredible.
We're getting shellacked a little bit. We're getting so many chances. But at the same time, our defense of unit, the four of us, but also collectively, was so tight. But that's how good Brazil was. That was Brazil at their best. Then Brazil hasn't been better than 07 and 08. And somehow, we're weathering the storm, and a big reason is Hope Solo. She was saving left, right, and center a lot of shots.
Brazil, I think about their players in that game. They were pretty stacked and very offensive-minded. They were just taking it to us, but we just fought as a team defensively. I think about the back line and Hope and how many saves we came up with, and just kept fighting and fighting. So when we went into overtime, it was so cool because we looked over and I looked at their players and they're all on the ground and they're needing to have their legs, worked out. And I said, I knew right then, even before we had gone into the overtime, that we were going to win that game.
Carly Lloyd just her one opportunity of the game, she puts it away.
I touched it, crossed the defender, I had a clear path of goal, and struck it with my left foot, and it couldn't have dipped and couldn't have been hit any better than it was. It went right under the keeper, and that was it. And I remember from that point on, we still had a lot of time left in overtime, and I just remember, you know, we just had to dig deep. We had to defend, continue to defend well together. They were going to get chances, but we have the #1 goalkeeper in the world to be able to stop those chances. In the end, we got it done, and you know, it was a great experience.
It's one of those times in your life that you're never going to forget and you'll hold on to forever. And I remember being in that moment just saying, you know, Angela, look around right now and take this in, because it's special. And to be able to stand up and be recognized with your family, that's your family. To know that we were able to stick together and accomplish what we set out to do is probably one of the most special moments that, you know, any Olympic athlete's going to have.